This is Valerio from the R3 product management team, and I'm here with John from our engineering team.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about the Corda Health Survey and the improvements for it that are coming as part of Corda Enterprise 4.4. So, John, what is the Corda Health Survey?
Okay, it's a general purpose tool that you can obtain from developer support, and it allows you to examine the general health of your node. So it goes through various internal checks. As you can see on the screen, there's kind of a picture of a sample output. It's a command line tool. You run it from your node directory, and it then analyzes, grabs various data in your configuration files, has a quick look to see if they're valid, appropriate. And in the end, it kind of generates a big zip file, which is actually sent back to people so they can actually analyze and verify that your configuration is correct. It's not meant to be used as a general health monitoring tool, but as a tool to verify that your configuration is correct at the start and to analyze if anything has gone wrong.
Sense?
So, it pages up report information and your logs for troubleshooting, as well as the core apps that you are running. And it was formally released with Corda 4.0. Release, we come out with a new version of the health survey tool. So the version that comes out with Corda Enterprise 4.4 is for 4.4 and above. Unfortunately, it's not backwardly compatible, but you can obtain the previous versions from our support team.
And correct me if I'm wrong, this is something, the latest set of improvements comes directly from customer feedback because they asked us, they already were finding useful the first versions that we had released of the tool, but one thing that was lacking was the possibility of both validating more complex deployments, for example, highly available nodes and firewall, or the possibility of validating connectivity between nodes or between peers on the network.
Oh, definitely. One of the big problems we find with customer deployments in complex situations is the firewall configuration. So now with Health Survey 4.4, you can check whether your node can actually connect to a remote node on your network, and also connect to the notaries. So this is actually very important because when you're setting up your firewall configuration and your ports, sometimes you may forget to whitelist a particular IP address or a particular port, and you may not know about it until you don't see any messages.
Yep.
But with Health Survey 4.4, it's now a feature which we'll hope to demonstrate very soon.
Fantastic. So let's give an overview of what's coming in Corda Enterprise 4.4.
So it can validate your peer nodes and your notary connectivity. It works with all Corda Enterprise deployments, including HA. So if you've got pair bridges and pair floats, I hope you, or assume you understand what we mean by this, then it will actually test that you can connect to all those bridges and floats.
Great.
A new feature with Corda 4.3 and 4.4 is the certificate verification list. So this was to allow the bridge to perform that check. So we now actually have a way to validate and make sure that your bridge can connect out to the CRL service.
And this is, just to clarify, this was a more secure way of actually performing that connectivity to the CRL as opposed to the previous way.
The previous way, the float did that check. And in some cases, the float may not be allowed to connect out. So we had to tunnel a request from the float to the bridge, and now the bridge do this, possibly through a SOX proxy. So this check in our health survey now does that for you. Make sure that you are fully configured with your bridge and your SOX proxy.
Fantastic.
And a minor one is it does actually inform you if your configuration files have plain text passwords. So it gives you a kind of a black mark if it can actually see your passwords. So remember to please use the Corda Obfuscator tools.
As a side note, we do provide a tool that allows you to take care of that too.
To obfuscate your passwords, yeah. And it can also now be run remotely over our PC. So the health survey tool does come with a mini Corda app, which if you install, allows us to run it over our PC, assuming you got both ports connected. So we'll also demonstrate that pretty soon.
Fantastic.
Now, coming to our demo, what we have for testing this system is a very large environment consisting of 6 virtual machines. We'll only be using a few of them this time, but we've got an identity service with a few notaries paired as well.
Yep.
Some an HA configuration, a plain configuration, and a kind of a standard configuration. So let's into our demo. Just going to pause it right now while I change screens. We're now going to start the demonstration of the health survey tool. What I got here is a PuTTY window connected to my remote server. This is the node that's running the HA configuration. The health survey tool is a command line tool, so I just run it now. It's now collecting information about your node, resolving IP addresses, and also making sure that you can connect to the main services like Network Manager and Network Map. Oh, it looks like I got plain text passwords, so I actually should use the Corda obfuscator so that I can hide those passwords in the files. Now it's doing the echo test. So it's sending out a message to the nodes and seeing how many echoes it gets back. We've got 4 this time, which is actually what we would expect. We would expect 1 echo from each bridge, 1 from the active float, and 1 from a node. So in this situation, we'll get 4 echoes. Now, the report is finished. So let's have a look of that into that report. Now you can just use VI, edit report, and you can see it contains several sub-reports. Let's drill down into the echo report. So here it shows that you sent out a request called echo. We got a bridge back from, sorry, we got a echo back from bridge 1, an echo back from bridge 2, echo back from float, echo back from the node. So that's the 4 echoes we were expecting. Let's check the service status report. So here, bridge 2 is the master. And as you can see, all the services are active. Float 1, all the services are active. Bridge 1, this is the backup, and some of the services are disabled. So going back, bridge 1 is the backup. Bridge 2 is the master. Now we can do another test and tell it to swap for control. So here, we can tell it to toggle which bridge is active and which is the backup. So this command tells the master bridge to shut down for 30 seconds, in which case the backup bridge should take over. First thing it does is make sure that you are running in HA configuration and that you have got 2 bridges at least. When it gets a great number of echoes, it then sends out the command to shut down the main bridge and then listen for echoes. Now in this case, it only got 1 echo back because the master bridge is now disabled. In the intervening time, the backup bridge should now start working. Let's run the health survey tool again and verify that the bridge is now taken over. We're doing the same process again. It will then get down to the echoes.
Let's edit this report file and look at the service status. And as you can see, bridge 2 is now the backup, and some of the services have been disabled. While bridge 1 is now the master, and all of the services are now active. Another new feature of the health survey check is the ability to actually test and ping a node. Now here you've got to give it the name of a peer. So I'm just going to find out the name of the peer of a node. So this is node B, and I'm going to have a talk to node A. So it connects actually to node B just to resolve the IP address of that legal name, and then sends out a response. And as you can see, it got a response back from node A saying that it's alive. In fact, if I go and give it a no, there's no demo X in our network, and it reports back saying unknown legal name. Yes, because there's no demo X. So this is a way to check that you actually got your firewall configuration set up correctly to talk to remote nodes. Another feature is we can actually check node trees as well. Now, if you remember back on the diagram, there are 3 node trees on our network. 2 of them were in a cluster. It's now getting the node tree list, comparing that with a network map, and then pinging each individual node tree it can find. So here, it found the 3 node trees, and that it could actually connect to all 3. If we have a look at the report, got a node tree list, and just tells you that the bridge was able to connect to all 3 nodes. So there's no way to make sure that your firewall configuration is correct and that can reach out. So you can connect to remote nodes and you connect to all the node trees within your network map. The final feature is the ability to connect and run the health survey tool from a remote node. So here I'm using the DNS name of our server and giving it the port for the RPC. I'm running this from my desktop. It will now send out the command. First thing, just doing a who am I and getting the peers on the network map. This is optional. And it's now running the report on the remote node. Now this will take a few minutes, as it before, and it takes a few minutes to stream it back to you. At the end of that, you'll then have a report on your desktop. Now to do this, obviously you must have the RPC port open for network communication. So this is kind of roughly the end of our demo on the new features of the health survey tool. It will be available with Corda 4.4 Enterprise. Thank you very much.